It's the mouse. Disney. I've heard stories. She's been preying on IPs and franchises for near 10 years. Never leaves any survivors.
No survivors? Then where do the stories come from, I wonder?
We are living in unprecedented times, across all industries and formats. But even though we've reached unlimited potential technologically, it's ironic that we've reached an era of reboots, remakes, and AI slop. Whether it's social media or films, most of the media today seemingly has the shelf life of expired sandwich meat. And this hits close to home for me because I truly believe that no matter what era of history we're in, stories will never go out of style. That being said, it is frustrating to see cinema's most iconic franchises turn into soulless products being spat out of assembly lines. But regardless of what's happening in the mainstream, I refuse to believe that we are losing our creativity as a society. I recently saw a YouTube fan film called Vader Episode 2 by Star Wars Theory, and I've got a really good feeling about this. Star Wars Theory, and so many YouTubers like him, are changing the narrative. Let's talk about it. There's this joke that's been floating around the internet for years now. Let me cinematically reenact it for you. There's a man that walks into a bar and orders a whiskey. And a few minutes later, a man on the other side of the bar points to him and asks, "How do you make $1 million franchise?" First guy shrugs his shoulders and says, "No idea." The second man smiles and says, "You sell $1 billion franchise to Disney." Whether you agree with that or not, the joke captures something millions of people feel: distrust. Not just towards Disney, not just towards Hollywood, towards the machine. Every year, our entertainment becomes bigger, more expensive, and more technically complicated. And yet, so much of it feels disposable. We binge it, forget it, and move on, like scrolling through another social media feed. That's weird, right? We've reached the point where we can create almost anything. Yet somehow, fewer stories feel unforgettable. So, what changed? Was it technology, money, audiences? I don't think so. I think we changed our relationship with art itself. Let me explain. For almost all of human history, artists rarely paid for their own work. Someone else did. Kings, churches, wealthy families, merchants. These people were called patrons, and the arrangement was simple. The patron supplied the money, the artist supplied the vision. One couldn't exist without the other. Michelangelo didn't paint the Sistine Chapel because he suddenly had extra cash lying around, and Leonardo da Vinci didn't crowdfund the Mona Lisa on the internet. Great artists have always relied on someone willing to invest in them, and that relationship actually never disappeared. It just changed shape. Today, our patrons aren't kings. They're corporations, studios, publishers, streaming platforms, game companies, record labels. And to be clear, this isn't inherently a bad thing. Patrons have funded some of humanity's greatest works of art. Without patrons, many masterpieces would never have existed. However, modern patronage comes with something previous generations never had to contend with: commercialization. A Renaissance artist might have to answer to one family, but a modern studio answers to its shareholders. They have marketing departments, quarterly earnings, brand managers, executives, algorithms, focus groups, the works. And it often has to survive by committee before a story ever reaches an audience. And committees are very good at minimizing risk. Because the assumption of commercialization is that if you optimize a formula, you maximize profit. But everything creativity tells you is that authenticity supersedes profitability. And regardless of what period of history you look at, the patrons have notoriously misunderstood the creative process. Let me put it this way: art is not fast food. And what do I mean by that? Art is not meant to be a fleeting experience. At its core, art is meant to slow you down. For those who partake in creating art, it is meant to be a meditative, slow discipline. And for those who enjoy it, art helps you exercise a different side of your brain and appreciate the little things in life. And of course, This is antithetical to commercialization. The industry is bound to its profit margins, so it needs to meet quarterly deadlines, pay salaries, and mass-produce content to keep itself afloat. To be clear, making a profit is not evil or wrong, but you have to grasp a simple fact. The pursuit of good art will not guarantee a high profit. And the Star Wars franchise is perhaps the best example of this. After Disney bought Lucasfilm in 2012, it has made over 30 on-screen projects, theme parks, video games, and toys. And for all the conversations about what Star Wars has become, the people who seem to understand Star Wars the most don't actually work for Lucasfilm. And in pursuit of dollar signs, it's the Star Wars fans that have actually become the biggest casualty after the purchase of Lucasfilm. Somewhere along the way, the fans got demoted from partners to customers. What made Star Wars so special was not the brand, but the story it was telling. Themes of family, redemption, and the fight between good and evil. These are the real things that brought the fandom together. And when you look at Disney's profits, where they're making most of their money is from merchandising and retail. So when you follow the money, it's easy to see where their priorities lie. But just when you thought all hope was lost, YouTuber Star Wars Theory released his fan film, Vader Episode 2. If you haven't already watched Vader Episode 2, pause this video right now and go watch it. It's a Hollywood-level fan film with a simple premise. What if Mace Windu survived Order 66? But here's the part that fascinates me the most. Star Wars Theory spent 8 years working on this film. That's 8 years between Vader Episode 1 and Episode 2. Not because someone delayed production, not because a studio didn't believe in it, but because he refused to release it until it was worthy of the universe that he loved. Think about how unusual that is. In Hollywood, 8 years is considered development hell and they move on to something else. For a fan, though, it's devotion. And that's exactly what Star Wars Theory is. He is a fan first. And after investing years of his life, countless hours, and hundreds of thousands of dollars of his own money, he uploaded it to YouTube for free. He's not making a single dime. He isn't protecting the brand, he isn't chasing a box office record. This is a film by a fan, for the fans. And this is what fandom does best. It brings people together. And that's exactly the kind of response Theory received from Star Wars fans. He hosted a live screening and had to double his showings to accommodate all the fans who came to support. And when you watch it, Vader Episode 2 feels like one of the most authentic Star Wars stories that we've had in a very long time. Which leads me to conclude that fans will save storytelling. No matter the franchise, no matter the medium. Here's why. Number 1, fans are fueled by passion, not competition. The problem with competition is that it's reactive, not proactive. And reactive art perfectly describes the state of entertainment today. But when fans create art, fans don't compete with one another. In fact, it's the opposite. Fandom is about appreciating what someone brings to the table because it fuels your passion and vice versa. Number 2, fans are not bound by deadlines. When a fan is truly passionate about something, there is no rush to finish their work because there aren't any executives breathing down their necks. And this frees them to take their time and make sure that they can give their project the attention to detail that it deserves. And number 3, fans are innovative. Within the Star Wars community alone, there are thousands, if not millions, of fan edits, renders, or reimaginings. Everyone knows you don't need a Hollywood budget to create something with soul. It just requires a big imagination. Now, Hollywood is not the antagonist, but it is a victim of the rat race that it created. The good news is that every great story eventually reaches a point where it no longer belongs to its creator exclusively. It belongs to the people who carry it forward, the fans. And so, if Hollywood is not telling the stories that we want to watch, what's stopping us from just doing it ourselves? Not out of spite, not for competition, but to make good art for its own sake. We live in unprecedented times, and it's never been easier than now to do it yourself. With YouTube and AI, anyone can learn anything. So, my question to the storytellers out there is, are we going to sit here and just complain about the content slop? Or are we going to do something about it and create the stories that we want to see? Long live the storytellers.